I'm Billy.
Hi, I'm Billy.
Hi, I'm Billy.
Sometimes I struggle with self-acceptance.
This is part of my story.
This is my story.
This is part of my story.
I think that the first time I remember struggling with body image was when I was sitting in my Year 6 classroom.
The first time I remember struggling with self-acceptance was when I was 12 years old at a birthday party, and all my friends and I decided to dress up like Barbie dolls.
The first moment that I remember struggling with anxiety was shortly after I gave birth to my first child. I became really anxious about almost everything. Even just leaving her in the room to sleep and going into a different part of the house was really overwhelming to me. In managing some of those processes, I realised that anxiety had been a part of my life, for as long as I can remember.
All my friends and I decided to dress up like Barbie dolls. A girl turned to me and she said, "You can't be a Barbie doll. Your hair is not like ours and it's not like the dolls." And that hurt. That was the first time I realised that I was different.
Was when I was sitting in my Year 6 classroom. We had to write down something we liked about ourselves on each finger, and on the other hand, we had to write something we disliked about ourselves. I remember sitting there at my desk for a long time, not knowing what to write, and in the end, I wrote down my tummy. And I think that was the first time that I realised on some sort of level I was expected to dislike myself. I started struggling with an eating disorder when I was about 13 or in Year 7, and it probably lasted about 3 years. For the longest time I was in denial about what I was struggling, but I remember one night I was looking in the bathroom mirror and it hit me how underweight I was, and for the first time I could actually see that, and I was so horrified and disgusted with myself, but I still couldn't bring myself to go downstairs to the kitchen and eat anything. That night I went to my room and I slept on the floor because I felt I was unworthy to sleep on a bed.
So one of the worst moments in my struggle with anxiety, probably not been a single moment, but the moments when I have been able to fully acknowledge what it's taken away from me. I have 2 beautiful children who I love very much, and I feel that anxiety stole some of those really magical early moments with them, and I suppose I feel the saddest about the struggle that I have had when I think about how much joy was taken away from me by that heavy cloud of anxiety hanging over me.
My personality is outgoing and bubbly and loud and humorous, and so noticing that my skin was different and my hair was different, I decided to push those things down because I didn't want to be any more different than I already looked. I wanted to be included. Around 12 years old, when I realised that my hair was different to everybody else's, I asked my mum to chemically straighten my hair. She didn't let me for a really long time. Even my close friends didn't even know I had curly hair. You would have never seen me with my hair like this, ever. I remember the first time I had the courage to wear my hair out curly. Me and my best friend attended an event and she saw me straight away and she was like, "What? Like, your hair?" And I was like, "Yeah, like, this is me." I remember we went to the event and everyone was like, "What? Like, your hair is insane." And I don't know, it was really emotional because that was the first time I realized that the narrative for that 10 years of me straightening my hair was all in my head. I definitely think that straightening my hair for 10 years was me hiding a part of myself from my friends and even from my family, and even from myself.
I remember the first time I felt I had won on some level this battle was on the way home from being admitted to hospital. I was in the car with Mum and Mum was driving, and I asked if she could pull over at a service station, and I asked her if we could buy a Maxibon, and I ate it and I really enjoyed it.
So a moment that I feel like I have won against my struggle with anxiety, learning that I can do pretty much anything. If I can handle 2 very young children, I feel like I can do pretty much anything, and that feels like a great confidence boost in managing anything that comes up in the future.
The thing that made me realize that I had to become naked was the 2 most important people in my life, my sisters. I realized that I had to be a role model for them, and I had to be someone that they could look to, that it was okay to be yourself and wear your hair out. And yeah, I wanted to be a role model because I never had one, and so I wanted them to feel okay in who they were.
The moment I became naked to this struggle was when I was having a conversation with a friend, and I was telling her about my experience, and I said my eating disorder, and she said to me, "Don't say that." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she said, "Don't say my eating disorder." I was like, "Why not?" And she's like, "It's not yours anymore. It doesn't have to be part of your identity anymore."
Advice that I would give to somebody struggling with anxiety: first thing is learn to expect grace from yourself and from other people. When you expect grace, you allow yourself mistakes, you allow yourself to try, you allow yourself to just be the best that you can be, and that's good enough. And the other thing I would love to see for people experiencing anxiety is to just be more open to medication and accessing therapy. Anxiety is a health issue like any other, and we often engage doctors and health professionals around those things, so I'd love to see people utilise those resources more. Life's just so much better naked.
Life's just so much better naked.
Life's just so much better naked.